This is the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast, where we discuss all the news in the world of basketball, NBA, college. We'll even throw in some high school. We're a high school basketball fan.
AAU? No?
AAU.
I love AAU.
I don't know what, like, youth basketball leagues, like the Fisher Price All-Star. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways,
Fisher Price.
We're talking all the basketball news here at the show. My name is Ben.
I'm Pauline.
Back in the studio on Monday. I feel like the shows flow so much better on Mondays since you and I are both here.
Yeah,
by myself, I don't mind doing it by myself, but I can't really have that back and forth exchange.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes, I agree, because on Tuesdays when I do basketball by myself, sometimes I'm like, oh, I miss Ben.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people do miss me when I'm not here.
Yeah.
So. Anyways, coming off of a great weekend of basketball,
yes.
a lot of storylines to get to. We'll talk some games in the NBA as well as college. Talk some storylines at the end of the show. So Friday in the NBA, we'll talk about what happened Saturday as well as Sunday. The Sixers pick up a 120-112 win over the Washington Wizards. Really nice game there. Bradley Beal had 40 points for the Wizards. Robert Covington, yes, Robert Covington, 25 points and 11 rebounds for the Sixers, who have their 22nd win of the season, which they had 10 of last year. So
hey, look at that.
No Ben Simmons for the rest of the year, but
you
can trust the process because they're playing really well. Embiid's playing limited games. Ben Simmons hasn't played at all. Have to see till next year how he does. Mm-hmm. And they'll have another good draft pick this year in a deep draft. So I like what the Sixers are doing. Got to give them credit. I guess you can say tanking for all those years has come back to work out for them. So the Grizzlies lose to the Pacers 102-92. CJ Miles 17 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist. Paul George has not been playing really well last few games. Do you think there's anything to do with him maybe being upset that he was not dealt at the deadline?
Aww.
I kind of been thinking about that. It's like he got ejected. I don't know if it was this game or on Saturday.
Oh, so he's starting like a little hissy fit right now?
But he got ejected after getting a second technical foul in only the third quarter. Maybe he's like
a little bit
venting out. Like I really don't see him staying in Indiana long term.
Aww.
Seriously, like I hate to say it, but the Raptors pick up a nice 107-97 victory over the Boston Celtics. This game might have a lot going for them come playoff time. Two teams that could meet in maybe a semifinal, maybe. The Bulls win in overtime over the Suns 128-121. Jimmy Butler is back and playing fantastic. 22 points, 9 assists, and 3 boards for the All-Star.
Jimmy Butts.
The Jazz pick up a road win 109-95 over the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 33 points and 12 rebounds for the Bucks. The Greek Freak is fabulous. And then Gordon Hayward for the Jazz, 29 points, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds, including 1 poster over the Greek Freak, and then and stare down too, I might add. Gordon Hayward, a little dull dark side, showing a little flashy for my boy from Butler.
Yes.
The Thunder with a 110-93 victory over the Los Angeles Lakers. Russell Westbrook, another triple-double. That was his 28th of the season. He now has 29 after his game yesterday. 17 points, 18 rebounds, and 17 assists. D'Angelo Russell, 29 points, 6 assists, and 4 boards in the loss for the Lakers. The Minnesota Timberwolves pick up a 97-84 victory over the Dallas Mavericks. Karl Anthony Towns is fantastic, 26 points and 18 rebounds. And not Steph Curry, but his little bro, Seth Curry. Sorry, I almost said Steph again.
Yes, he did.
Little bro Seth with 31 points for Dallas off the bench. The Miami Heat pick up a 108-90 victory on the road over the Atlanta Hawks. And the Nuggets pick up a 129-109 victory over the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets have lost 17 games in a row now, I believe, at 9-48. And
That's hard.
Not have their draft pick because it's going to Boston. I mean, Mikhail Prokhorov literally screwed that franchise and then left town. I feel really bad for them. The Spurs pick up a 105-97 victory on Friday on the road against the Clippers. It was the return of CP3, but it didn't matter because the Spurs did win. Pau Gasol, also returning from injury, 17 points and 11 rebounds.
Yeah, like a Pau.
Blake Griffin, 29 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists. That turns us to Saturday in the NBA. Pauline, your Kings, they looked good on Thursday against Denver.
Did.
But what happened on Saturday?
Okay, I can work with this.
Saturday, not so much the case. They
Right.
lose at home 99-85 over the Charlotte Hornets.
At home.
Frank the Tank Kaminsky, of all players, tearing it up. 23 points and 13 boards for the Hornets.
Acting up.
Tyreek was the top performer for the Kings. 11 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. Just not too good. Let's talk about the Kings later because
we'll get into the Kings.
And some comments to say about
Saga.
the DeMarcus Cousins trade that
Right.
kind of puts a stamp on the end of it, and we'll discuss what he said to the Sacramento Bee at the end of the show. The Magic pick up a 105-86 victory over the Atlanta Hawks. Terrence Ross for Orlando, of course, coming over in the Serge Ibaka trade. He had 24 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. And then probably one of the best smiles in sports is Dwight Howard. He had 11 points and 14 rebounds for the hometown boy from Atlanta in the loss. The Knicks pick up a 110-109 victory over the 76ers. Carmelo Anthony, 37 points and 6 rebounds. And one of my favorite players was Joel Embiid, but he's just not really playing. He's not playing on back-to-backs. So Jahlil Okafor had to pick up the slack, and he had 28 points and 10 rebounds. I'm sure Jahlil's going to play a little more confidently because Nerlens Noel is gone now. He's not going to have to worry about that just big three-headed mess as far as big men are concerned in Philadelphia. So had a nice, good game there.
Some room to stretch and work his magic.
I feel the same way with Cauley Stein with the Kings, too.
No.
I talked about it on Friday.
That I agree. I think we are going to see a lot of production out of Willie. I think so as well.
Definitely. So the Miami Heat pick up another victory, 113-95 over the Pacers. I think this is where, Paul George did get ejected in this game. So maybe having a little growing pains and from some frustration in Indiana. He wants to go to L.A. Why didn't they just trade him? I'm sure Larry Bird has a plan installed. Hassan Whiteside had 22 points and 17 rebounds for the Heat. And Miles Turner, nice young big man out of Texas, 18 points and 7 rebounds for the Indiana Pacers. The Mavericks pick up a 96-83 victory over the New Orleans Pelicans. It doesn't work out again for Boogie and Anthony Davis.
Nope.
We'll talk about them because they lost again yesterday. They're 0-3 together. Davis did have 39 points and 14 rebounds in the loss, and then the legendary German Dirk Nowitzki, 18 points and 9 rebounds. One of my favorite players of all time. Paul.
Yes. No, I love Dirk.
Changed the game. The first true stretch 4 in the NBA. The Bulls pick up a 117-99 victory over the Cavs. Cavs just really missing out. LeBron James has some strep throat. He didn't play. Kyrie Irving had to pick up the slack. He had 34 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. And Dwayne Wade falls 1 rebound short of joining Jimmy Butler as teammates with triple-doubles. Wade only had 9 rebounds to go along with his 20 points and 10 assists. Kind of a flashy game. You would imagine seeing this maybe as a final score on a 2K game. The Rockets 142, the Timberwolves 130.
142.
The Rockets attempted 58 three-pointers in this game. They shot 22 of 58 as a team. That's the second most in franchise history. James Harden had 24 points, 10 assists, and 5 boards. Karl Anthony Towns in the loss, another good game. 37 points and 22 rebounds for the Rockets. Every single starter scored at least 15 points, and they had 8 players in double figures. The Warriors pick up a 112-95 victory over the Brooklyn Nets. Steph Curry, 27 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. You realize the Warriors already clinched a playoff berth?
Which is amazing.
It's February.
And
it's literally February.
Right.
And they clinched a playoff berth. What? Yeah, stop the presses. The Warriors are 49-9. The Spurs pick up a 119-98 victory on the road over the Lakers yesterday, returning to the Sunday games. Kawhi Leonard, probably the quietest superstar in the history of sports. 25 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist. Brandon Ingram for the Lakers. Really good game. 22 points from the young man at Duke. The Bucks pick up a 100-96 victory over the Phoenix Suns. Giannis Antetokounmpo, no surprise here, the top performer from Milwaukee. 28 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. The Grizzlies went on the road over Denver, 105-98. Mike Conley had 31 points, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds. Danilo Gallinari, the Italian, had 24 points and 4 rebounds for the Denver Nuggets in the loss. The Jazz pick up another nice victory on the road over the Washington Wizards. Rudy Gobert, the Frenchman, had 15 points and 20 rebounds. John Wall, another good game, 23 points and 11 assists in the loss. The Raptors pick up a 112-106 victory without Kyle Lowry. He missed his second straight game. So DeMar DeRozan picking up the slack. He had 40 points the other night. He had 33 last night to go along with 6 boards. Damian Lillard, 28 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds. The Celtics pick up a 104-98 victory behind Isaiah Thomas's 33 points. Reggie Jackson, a good game for Detroit. Kind of surprised he didn't get traded on Thursday. A lot of rumors surfacing around Reggie Jackson's future in the Motor City. He had 17 points and 6 assists in the loss. Big game last night. The Clippers, 124-121 over the Charlotte Hornets. Nicholas Batum had 31 points in the loss. Kemba Walker had 34. Blake Griffin, the monster game, though. 43 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. And that takes us to... let's talk about the Pelicans and the Thunder. So the Pelicans, as we mentioned, they're 0-3 in the Boogie Cousins, Anthony Davis era because they lost 118-110 yesterday to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Russell Westbrook is 29th triple-double of the season. His 7th 40-point triple-double. He had 41 points to go along with his 11 assists and 11 rebounds. He had 9 turnovers, so it wasn't all a great game for Russ, but nevertheless, he has the ball in his hands literally every single time. He's a glue guy. It's glued to his hands until he decides to pass it.
Yes.
So 9 turnovers, not good, but he'll take the win. The Pelicans, this has been the story the last 3 games. It's literally DeMarcus Cousins, Anthony Davis, and 3 guys on the floor. Davis had 38 points and 7 rebounds. Boogie Cousins had 31 points and 10 rebounds. The only other player in double figures was Etuan Moore off the bench with 10 points. No one can score on this team besides Davis and Cousins.
But it's like, what are you guys doing?
I mean, let's just say they're not shooting well. I mean, just look at some of the. 3 of 9, 2 of 6, 1 of 2, 4, 3 of 8.
0-1. Like, what are we doing, fellas?
It's literally the DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis show,
which is fine. We knew that was going to happen,
took 43 shots.
We need a supporting cast. Like, you can't.
I mean, Drew Holiday is a good player. I'd imagine he would have really benefited from this. His assist numbers are up. He's averaging 8 assists. Well, he had 8 last night, I should say. But he's just not scoring. He shot 3 of 9, 0 of 2 from 3. I would imagine he would have benefited most from those 2 down low, kick out to a wide open Drew, and knock down some shots. But it's just not working out for them. Do you think it's that they're maybe just trying to get adjusted to playing with each other, or is this something we could see long term?
I hope, for Pelican's sake, I hope it's not long term. Because they're doing, DeMarcus and Anthony are doing what they hoped for and wanted. That's fine, because they're producing their numbers. They're staying consistent. It's just adding together. But like last night, they had 69 points together. But if everybody's only chipping in 2 here, 2 over there, 1 here, whatever, you're not going to win games scoring. Well, this is a high-scoring game as far as 110. They put up 110. But if you're only guaranteeing your team 70 points and that's it, you're going to lose.
Exactly. There's got to be more contribution there. Give it time. It's been 3 games. I'm not going to say that it's a product of, it's just not a good idea. DeMarcus Cousins did pick up his 18th technical foul of the season last night. Only 32 seconds into the game, so he will be suspended for the next game. He and Steven Adams kind of got into a little scuffle.
That's probably why Vlade had his words. He was probably, we're going to get into that later in the episode, but Vlade's probably, this is exactly what I was talking about.
He's probably like licking his chops and like laughing inside because it's like, DeMarcus Cousins is the same player in New Orleans. And give it time. He's only gotten 1 technical foul in 3 games. Like, is this not bad for Bogut? But, 32 seconds in is definitely not the way to do it. But
yeah,
we'll have
true DeMarcus fashion, though. True DeMarcus fashion.
That's a good way to put it. But anyways,
I expected nothing less.
Thunder 118-110 over the Pelicans. Pelicans 0-3 in the Boogie Cousins, Anthony Davis era. Give it some time; they'll work it out. I'm sure it'll be okay. We'll take our first break of the show. After the break, we're going to talk about college basketball. On Saturday, UCLA with a really big victory on the road over Arizona. We'll talk about how good the Bruins are coming close to Selection Sunday. Right after the break at the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
This is the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. We are transitioning over to the college landscape. I watched a lot of college basketball this weekend, Pauline.
Well, that's fun.
I like to stay up to date with it during the season, but come the end of the season, conference tournaments, of course, NCAA tournament as well, I like to get more familiar with some of the teams so I can get a little prediction as far as the NCAA tournament goes. See who's playing really good at the end of the season. I feel like that's a big contributing factor. Mm-hmm. One team who's been playing great all year is the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Of course, number one overall. They were 29-0 coming into Saturday's game against BYU.
Right.
They're at home. You'd imagine over BYU, who were 20-10 on the season, that they would be able to finish the undefeated regular season at 30-0.
Right.
They started off great. I watched a lot of this game. It was after the UCLA-Arizona game, which I was watching. They were up, I think, 23-8 at one point, 20-5. Started off great. They were up by 6 at halftime. But BYU, with a monster second half, 44-30, they outscored Gonzaga. Mm-hmm. They give the Bulldogs their first loss of the season, and their shot at a perfect season, Gonzaga, is no more. They lose 79-71. Eric Mika for BYU, good game, 29 points and 11 rebounds. I think he shot 11 of 14 from the floor as well. Nigel Williams-Goss was the top performer for Gonzaga, as he usually is. 19 points, 3 assists, and 2 boards. But Gonzaga finally lose. Pauline, are you one of those people that feel like it's a good idea for teams to lose maybe one time during the season to maybe get the loss out of their way, especially so close to conference tournament time? Or are you the people that think that, no, you want to go out and win every game and it's not good to lose at all?
Well, if you're this deep into season, don't lose any.
Yeah, they're 29-0.
Yeah.
For 30-0. It's one loss. That's not that big of a deal.
Right, and I think with college, it's just like, because regardless, it comes down to tournament time, regardless. So I get that, and in tournament time, it's one and done. It's like, it's different than with like the NBA playoffs where you have multiple chances. So it kind of depends on, like, with college basketball, if you're this deep without a loss, then just go the rest of the way without losing. You don't need that loss to kick in and give you a taste, whatever, that kind of. But in the NBA, I'm kind of like, like when the Warriors, were doing really well and things like that, I was like, oh, okay, you got to get a loss in there just to, mix it up and also give you that before freaking out in the finals and thinking that you're on top and then losing a 31 lead. So I think it kind of depends. But then Gonzaga as well, we have been discussing how, they don't really have too much competition. So especially with the conference that they're in and how they were doing, I was really thinking that they were just going to go 30-0. Mm-hmm.
I was watching this game, and quite honestly, even in the first half when they were so dominant over BYU, I wasn't really impressed with Gonzaga. I'm watching this game, and I'm like...
Well, you're playing teams like Santa Clara, UOP.
They just look like a big fish in a small pond to me.
Huge
honestly.
Fish in a fishbowl.
Yeah, I mean,
truly,
I
with
really
shrimps and crabs in there. Like, there's not even other fish to contend with.
Maybe they can turn us doubters, you and I, wrong come tournament time. I'm sure.
By all means, even no matter who you're playing, being 29-0 or even 29-1 is a great feat in itself. But it's like conference play, you're not playing anybody.
No, and I'd say at worst they're going to be a number 2 seed. If they win out, they should probably still be the number 1 on the West, unless UCLA maybe, they had a nice win on Saturday, unless they maybe run the table from here on out. But Gonzaga will probably still be number 1 seed. So maybe they can prove you and I wrong, because I think we're in the same boat here. Not really big on Gonzaga come tournament time. One team I really am impressed with and should make another deep run is the defending champions. That's Villanova. They win 79-63 over number 23 Creighton on Saturday. They are riding really high. I mean, they're 14-3 in the Big East, 27-3 overall. Whether it be Josh Hart, company, I mean, they're fantastic. Eric Paschal had a good game, 19 points and 6 rebounds on Saturday. So they are definitely looking for another deep run. Another team is Kansas. They clinch at least a share of their 13th consecutive Big 12 title.
Yeah.
They are literally the model of consistency in college basketball. With a 77-67 victory on the road over Texas. Josh Jackson, 18 points, 5 rebounds and 5 assists for the Jayhawks. Let's get to this UCLA and Arizona game.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So this was number 4, Arizona hosting number 5, UCLA. Of course, it was a rematch of earlier in the year, Alonzo Trier's first game as a member of Arizona this season since being suspended for most of the first half of the season. They go on the road at Pauley Pavilion and beat UCLA. Mm-hmm. Well, UCLA flips it the other way. They defeat Arizona in Arizona 77-72.
Yep. Lonzo
Ball, of course, one of my favorite players in college basketball, 11 points, 8 assists, and 5 rebounds. Not too big on his dad. We'll get to that after some scores, but had another great game. Bryce Alford, this coach's son, Steve Alford, he is just so good, catch and shoot, quick release. UCLA's offense, I mean, whether it be Isaac Hamilton, Lonzo Ball, TJ Leaf is really fantastic, the young freshman big man, Bryce Alford, they can score in bunches. They kind of went into the break with a lot of momentum going the other way because UCLA was up, and then Arizona, really because of Trier, he had 28 points and 5 rebounds, really led them into the break. They're up by 4, had a lot of momentum at home. But UCLA in the second half just dominated them, 38-29. Arizona only 29 second half points. And UCLA at 26-3, 13-3 overall in conference play. And I guess you can throw in Oregon a little bit too. These 3 teams are going to, in my eyes, really be fantastic teams come tournament time. I think you could see all 3 in the Sweet 16, honestly. They're going to be high seeds. They're really, really good. And Oregon, with their experience, in particular to me, they won 75-73 on the road against Stanford. Mm-hmm. Dylan Brooks and company, I really like the Ducks. But UCLA, very, very impressive on Saturday over Arizona. It was a great victory for UCLA. I watched the game. It was a good game back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And really, really impressed with what the Bruins are doing. Lonzo Ball, he's fantastic. And I don't know what else I can say about the kid. Not so much big of his fan as his dad. We'll get to that in a second. So on Saturday, number 8, North Carolina goes on the road to defeat Pittsburgh 85-67. Kennedy Meeks had 18 points and 10 rebounds. North Carolina also clinches at least a share of the ACC regular season title. Number 9, Baylor, an upset here. They lose on the road to unranked Iowa State, 72-69. Iowa State's been pretty good recently. I mean, the Fred Hoiberg era is gone. He's, of course, gone on to coach the Bulls now. But they were really good under him. But they're still a really good team. They're 11-5 in conference, 19-9 overall. And this was a good win over number 9 Baylor here. Baylor's kind of struggling. I mean, they've really easy non-conference schedule. But they're only 10-6 in the Big 12. Right. So a lot of questions to me about how good Baylor really is. I mean, they lost both games to Kansas. Of course, Kansas is fantastic, but I'm really questioning just how good Baylor is. We'll see come tournament time. Mm-hmm. Another team I'm maybe a little bit skeptical about is Duke. Number 10, Duke loses on the road to Miami 55-50. The Blue Devils now 22-7 overall, but another team 10-6 in conference play. The ACC is fantastic. Mm-hmm. They have so many teams in the top 25. They're probably going to get the most teams of any conference in the tournament come Selection Sunday a couple weeks from now. But Duke kind of struggling. I mean, Bruce Brown really lit him up. The guard from Miami had 25 points on Saturday. Another big game was in the SEC. This game really went a long ways in my eyes in determining the SEC regular season champion, and that's Kentucky against Florida. Mm-hmm. Number 11, Kentucky, with a huge second half from Malik Monk, beat the Gators 76-66. Monk had 33 points, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds, but he had 30 points in the second half alone.
Yeah.
It was a tale of 2 halves for the super freshman.
Yes.
3 points in the first half and 30 in the second half. He really dominated. He and Adebayo were fantastic on Saturday. And Kentucky look like that team. If they can play the defense the way they did in this game, the experience isn't there, obviously, because they're a team of freshmen every single year. But still, if they can play defense the way they did, they have the scorers, they have Malik Monk, the guard play really dominates come tournament time in my eyes. They could be a team making a deep run. Calipari's a great coach. He knows what it takes to get it done. He's won a title before. I mean, Kentucky's my team, of course. I'm going to be a little biased. But
Right.
I'm liking this Kentucky team. I was a little skeptical during the middle of the season. They've lost a couple of games to some good teams. They lost to UCLA, lost to Kansas, but they did defeat North Carolina. So they know what it takes to win against top teams. They've done it already.
Sure.
Number 12, West Virginia go on the road to defeat TCU by 61-60. Number 14, Purdue gets upset by Michigan 82-70. Number 17, SMU under Larry Brown. They're 15-1 in the American Conference. They win 69-61 over UConn. Number 18, Virginia tops NC State 70-55. Good to see Virginia get back to their winning ways. They've really, really struggled recently. They lost 4 games in a row prior to this one. Number 19, Florida State goes on the road to defeat Clemson 76-74. Number 20, St. Mary's defeats Santa Clara 70-56. Iowa with a big upset over 24-ranked Maryland, 83-69.
Yeah.
Maryland was at home in this game. They really got upset bad.
Yeah.
And then number 25, Wichita State under Gary Marshall. He looks like, Gary Marshall, the coach for Wichita State. Every time I see him, he looks like that guy from the Flintstones.
I don't remember.
The boss of that company, rock company they work at.
Yes.
I don't know the names.
I don't remember the names.
The name's escaping me, but nevertheless, the Shockers continue to impress. They're probably the best, most consistent mid-major in my eyes. 27-4 overall, 17-1 in conference play. Landry Shamet, 23 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists for Wichita State. We turn over to Sunday to look at the games in the top 25 in basketball. Number 7, Louisville defeats Syracuse by 20, 88-68. Number 15, Cincinnati gets upset on the road by unranked UCF, 53.
Yes.
Only 49 Cincinnati scores.
Yeah.
A big win here for Michigan State. If they want to try to get into the tournament, they're going to need a deep run in the Big Ten tournament. But they got a really nice win over number 16th ranked Wisconsin yesterday, 84-74. Wisconsin kind of struggling going into the tournament. Number 21, Notre Dame defeat Georgia Tech 64-60. Number 22, Butler go on the road to defeat Xavier 88-79. And that takes us to I think we talk about them more than anybody, Pauline. Well,
I was going to say, we always about every other week we discuss the Ball brothers. Yeah.
We have Lonzo, we have LiAngelo and LaMelo in high school with Chino Hills. And then LeVar Ball, who is definitely the most outspoken one. That's the father of the 3 boys, of course. Lonzo Ball's turning up at UCLA. We all know what he's doing this season. Reports are coming out on Saturday that LeVar Ball had an interview with an Arizona radio station on Saturday.
Right.
And he said, he was talking about Lonzo. Of course, he's had some comments about him, thinks he'll be better than Steph Curry. He's already saying he's going to be one and done, which is coming from the dad, not the player, never a good thing. But anyways, he told KCUB Sports Radio 1290 in Tucson in prior preparation to the game against Arizona that he wants Lonzo to play for the Lakers. And, of course, they're from Chino Hills, which is Southern California, probably a Laker fan family.
Sure.
It makes sense. I mean, Magic Johnson's the president there. You want to learn from him. He's being compared, in my eyes, a lot to, Jason Kidd is Lonzo. Reminds me a lot of Jason Kidd. So, of course, you want to learn from the greatest point guard of all time in Magic Johnson. It makes a lot of sense.
Right. And how awesome would that be?
It'd be fantastic. I mean, I think the kid's going to be good already. I think he's going to be an all-star no matter where he goes. But to learn from Magic would be really just a step ahead of everyone else. So he said that he would like his son to play for the Lakers for those reasons. Do you think it's a good idea? And we've seen this before. I mean, Eli Manning did not want to play for the Chargers, and he got traded to the Giants on draft day. John Elway came out and said that if the Baltimore Colts, were going to draft him, that he was not going to come out of college, which he did. He stayed at Stanford, and then he went on to win a couple of Super Bowls with the Broncos. Now he's a GM of the Broncos, and he's won a Super Bowl there. So we've seen this before in sports, people not wanting to go to play for a certain team or saying they want to play for a certain team. But do you think it's a good idea for your dad to do that? I mean,
no.
even some GMs have come out and said that they're skeptical of even taking Lonzo because of how outspoken his father is.
No, yeah, so you're jeopardizing your own kid. And you're not his, that's why they have representatives, they have spokespeople, they have whatever, manager, not yet, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there's people whose jobs it is to say things, and there's a reason why it's their job and not somebody else's, especially not your father's. And I mean, I get it, and I've said this before, we discussed this in the sports podcast earlier this morning, but, there's nothing wrong with your dad being your biggest supporter and being your biggest cheerleader, that everyone's parent, no matter whether it's in sports or whatever avenue it is that you decide to take with your life, your parent should always be your biggest cheerleader. I'm not against that piece. But then when you're starting to jeopardize your son's future in his future career, because now you're causing turmoil and some speculation with people who potentially hold his career in their hands. And then there's that piece. And then the whole, all my sons are going to be one and done type ball players. They're all going to go to UCLA. And my first son has to go, I want him to go to the Lakers. And this is why, and all of that. One, that's a lot of pressure just in itself, because what if one of your kids doesn't? Well, I mean, in this particular case, they do, but you're telling your kids you're going to be one and dones. So, I mean, now you're tiptoeing along the line of you better not get hurt because they're going to be a one and done, and we don't have time for you to get hurt. We don't have time for you to need an extra year because your dad's already said it, so now you have to be a one and done. Right.
It's big shoes to fill by someone who's got no connection to them except for, of course, he's their relative. He's their dad. He's not on the floor with them.
Like, I'm cool with saying, my sons are, I believe in my sons. I wouldn't be surprised if all three of them were one and done. So, something like that. Then it's like, you're just hyping them up because they're your sons, but you also understand the possibility that out of all three, not all three might be one and done. You know what I mean? Like, there's a way to still gas your kids, and be their biggest cheerleader, but being realistic at the same time and not potentially jeopardizing their future in the league.
I feel like some people just need to literally say nothing.
Say less, yeah.
And LeVar Ball is that guy. Like, just keep your mouth shut. You already talked about how you had to unleash your son when he scored 92 points after they lost to Oak Hill in high school, and he could easily score over 92 again in high school, and now you're saying Lonzo's going to be better than Steph Curry, and he's going to be a one and done, and he needs to play for the Lakers, and just stop saying stuff, man. Like, just let it go. Let your sons develop into the players they can be, and see where it takes you. You're already trying to live your life through them. And, I mean, if you have three sons that are as good as they are, I could understand that. But just let it go, man. There's no good in doing what you're doing. Just stop. Just stop.
Yes.
We'll take our last break of the show, and then after the break, we'll talk about news in basketball. Could the Cavaliers become the richest team after the NBA trade deadline without simply making a trade? We'll talk about that and more after the break at the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA, from the UFC to extreme cage fighting. They got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Brandon Jennings has been waived by the New York Knicks. The backup point guard has been playing pretty well, averaging 6 points and a team high, surprisingly team high, 4.9 assists. I mean, that tells you how much ball movement happens in New York. Literally none. If the guy who's playing 25 minutes is averaging a team high 5 assists. But nevertheless, He tweeted thanks to the Knicks on Monday. He said, "Thank you to all the Knicks fans for the love all year long, and thanks to my teammates and the organization. Playing in the Mecca was an amazing experience, and I'm looking forward to being back on the court soon, playing the game I love." So I'm sure Brandon Jennings will get picked up by someone. Not a bad backup point guard. He's kind of decent. He's still kind of young. So I think he could definitely make some moves to help some teams if he gets signed there. One team that's making some big-time moves is the Cleveland Cavaliers. Of course, the trade deadline was Thursday. The Mavericks were the most active team on Thursday, trading away Andrew Bogut, waiving Deron Williams, bringing in Nerlens Noel, made a lot of moves there. Anyways, they waived Deron Williams. He's a free agent. He looks like he's probably going to Cleveland. I mean, no real surprise. Who wouldn't want to try and win a championship with LeBron James? Everybody in the past has done it. No, I'm not surprised there. They need a backup point guard. Okay. But another guy, Andrew Bogut, is reportedly looking at going to the Cavaliers now.
Yes.
So he is negotiating a buyout with the Philadelphia 76ers because he simply doesn't want to be there.
Doesn't want to be there.
And they don't want him there either.
I was going to say,
they're trying to get young.
The feelings are mutual.
They're trying to get young, and they're obviously trusting the process. They got 22 wins now. They're doing pretty well. Anyways, he will become a free agent once he gets bought out, and it looks like he will be going to Cleveland as well. So the Cavaliers don't make a single move on Thursday and could pick up a nice, solid rim protector in Bogut. And honestly, would you say the best backup point guard in basketball in Deron Williams? I mean, he's averaging 13 points.
No, that'll be a really good backup to have, yeah.
He's averaging about 13 points, 5 assists. You could even team him up with Kyrie Irving if you wanted to, both on the floor at the same time. That would be really, really solid. Just how good would the Cavaliers be now? Would you say, like, better than the Warriors right now?
I would give it to them in their favor, like securely and significantly better, yes.
I mean, I took the Warriors in 7 last year, and obviously the Cavs won. I can't ever bet against LeBron James, especially now with a good backup and a rim protector, a guy who's familiar with the Warriors and Bogut, who spent the last couple of years there. He's going to know their styles and schemes a little bit better, maybe some inside scouting. But the Warriors just added Kevin Durant. I mean, I got to think that Durant
they're
one
definitely
game better
their
than the
contender.
addition of Deron Williams and Bogut.
Okay.
Because that's all that separated them last year was one game, Game 7. I mean, if everybody stays healthy, Steph Curry's not having to do as much because Durant's there, and neither is Klay Thompson, so they're kind of, I wouldn't say falling out of the limelight, but they're not getting as much publicity and they're not getting as much hype because there's another sheriff in town, and it's KD, and he can score just as good as they can. So that maybe gives them a little more fresh legs come playoff time. The added dimension, you could even have Durant be the clutch time on the ball guy, and Curry and Thompson playing off the ball, standing outside, hitting three-pointers. They're the best two shooters in the league. Imagine them being wide open from a KD penetration. I can't ever bet against LeBron, Pauline, but seriously, how can they beat what the Warriors have? I just don't see it happening
I just think the experience that the Cavaliers are going to be having and potentially acquiring with Williams and Bogut as well. And I just firmly believe that experience tends to, in the long run, and especially when the pressure gets turned up, tends to outlast the young talent. So that's partially and mainly the reason why I'm still sticking with the Cavs. Just the experience with amongst all of them, just the original guys from the Cavaliers last year, and the previous couple of years since LeBron's been back, LeBron himself, Andrew Bogut, even, going deep into the playoffs and finals with the Warriors as well. So it's just that experience that I think that's going to outlast the new chemistry. But I mean, don't get me wrong, the Warriors are definitely the best contender, but I think that experience is what's going to outlast them.
It's possible. I can never bet against LeBron. I mean, seriously, like the guy he seems to just find a way to turn on a switch. When they absolutely need him the most recently.
And
he's performed. And
LeBron does not play around.
No. And then real quick before we end the show, we'll talk some more basketball news. The end of the whole Boogie Cousins and Kings saga here. Obviously, he got traded a week ago now. Vlade Divac came out and said that we need to try and change the character and the chemistry of the team and move on. And then Cousins, a couple of days later, said it was a coward move, seeing as how they went to his house, his personal house.
Yes, like his actual home.
and said that he's not going to be traded. And then 2 weeks later, they trade him.
Couldn't even give my man a courtesy text or a
Nothing.
call.
Said it was a coward move. He'd probably get a coward answer if he were to talk to them. And then Vlade Divac answers back by talking to Eileen Voisin. She's a journalist of the Sacramento Bee.
Yes.
He kind of put an end to this whole thing, and he said, look, I think we'll be in a better position in 2 years. If we're not, I will step down as the general manager of the Kings. He'll resign.
What does that mean?
What does better position mean? Because right now, they're fighting for the 8th seed.
Yeah, so does that mean we're not going to be fighting for that 8th seed? Like, it'll be ours? Will we be the 7th seed?
Or is he talking strictly record? I mean,
or are we just going to be a happier, go-lucky team
is the chemistry
in 2
be
years?
better?
Are we just going to be all besties? Because I guess that technically is better, I guess. Like, compared to what is my concern?
Exactly. So we're not sure exactly, but that's basically what he said.
Less technical fouls will, default because we don't have DeMarcus.
Kind of a bold prediction by saying that
in
only
just 2 years. Yeah.
I mean, the Kings have been a mess for the last 12. So if he thinks he can turn around in 2 years, when the first 2 years have not been great, I just don't really see it happening. But will he even do it? Will he live up to what he said? Will he really step down in 2 years if the team is not better?
They're going to come up with some statistic that proves that they are better.
You think so?
Better,
just so
whatever better is.
So he can say that they're
Ticket
better?
sales have gone up or whatever. I don't know. Just something.
I just don't see it happening. The Kings have been the laughing stock of the league for 12 years. How they're going to turn it around in 2,
we'll see.
I don't see it happening. No
less turnovers. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. But it doesn't. We'll see. We'll see what my man Vlade means.
I don't know. But anyways, that's going to end the show for today at the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. Pauline and I are signing off. She'll be back in the studio tomorrow.
Yep,
I will be here Wednesday. Thanks for listening, guys. Have a good day, and we'll see you next time at the GSMC Basketball Podcast.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.